Hey guys, thank you so much and welcome to the Game Your Future podcast, all about helping gamers realize their full potential. And today I have a special guest for you. It is Siloh Moses. Siloh is an entrepreneur, philanthropist, giver, and a gamer. So Siloh, thank you so much and welcome. How are you?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks.
Fantastic. So a lot of people are interested. I know, being gamers. It's like, how do you take that further? Like, how do you, I guess, make money? How do you do this? And so people are excited. So you're an entrepreneur, and I hear you're very successful at it. So what is it that you do, and how? Yeah, tell me about your journey on entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I mean, it really started at a very young age. I think I had my first, uh, technically first company when I just gotten out of school. So it was roughly around 18, 19. I used to sell, t-shirts and used to sell them basically out of my locker as a senior in high school. And they were custom t-shirts that a friend of mine, both of us teamed up, found a local supplier. We're like, we're just going to create really cool t-shirts and we're going to sell them to our friends. That was basically our whole business model.
Nice.
Right? uh, that did fairly well. Like we made some money. It wasn't really a huge endeavor, right? And probably very early on the value of partnerships and of course how quickly your business can go away once the partnership dissolves because he was just like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to make t-shirts anymore. And then the business was, in the toilet. So,
How quickly it could go. Yep.
and then after that, kind of had some cool years. I got into DJing. I started DJing for a little while and I did that full time. And I was making some really good money there. And then I got into don't ask me why, a cleaning company. I started a cleaning company right after college. So I was 21, maybe 22. And I started that company with a bucket and a mop. My first client was an accountant. And he had a small accounting firm where it was basically three offices, a conference room and a bathroom. That was really it, maybe 1,200 square feet max. And met him at a referral breakfast, and he was like, "You own a cleaning company?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, technically I do. I own the clients, so yeah, technically I do." He's like, "All right, cool." He's like, "I'll give you a shot." He gave me a shot, and yeah, I was the CEO, I was the marketer, I was the sales rep, I was customer service, and then I would sign the contracts, get them signed, and go up the next day and clean their toilets, right? And started that company with a mop and a bucket, basically grew that to the point where we were doing construction cleanup. So a lot of in the retail sector. So the retail sector would give us a call. They would have us come in and we would clean up the retail location that they're looking to open, where there's a grocery store, a bookstore, whatever that looks like. We would clean up all the sawdust and do all that stuff. Diamond cut the floors, so it's just basically using these big machines that cut into um, into tile to get them to look really, really good and brand new. And we got paid very nicely for that. I got the attention of Walmart. Walmart came on, they were expanding. They were like, we need a company to come in and do construction cleanup. We want you to bid on it. I bid on it. I won it. And I, very next day, sold the cleaning company. Never cleaned out Walmart, never stepped into it. So,
Wow. We'll let somebody
they
else do that,
sold
but
it as soon
no.
as I got that contract.
But
Yeah,
no, I'm
the ink on that contract wasn't even wet before I sold the company, right? So
that's got it. But I'm sure that definitely helped you out though, for sure. That's fantastic. So so kudos to you. So then,
yeah,
so you've kind of had this like also like this kind of if I could describe it, kind of like a meandering path to be like, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do t-shirts, now I'm going to do cleaning, and then but that's not where you stopped, right? So what is it that you're doing now?
yeah. Today, I mean, technology. So I do a lot with AI agents. So and AI, whatever technologies that are promising today. So today, what I do is I build out online communities for online coaches, creators, and business owners. And we take those communities, we grow them, we monetize them with the help of AI. So that they can get back to, doing what they love, which is helping people. So that's what I
Well,
do today, and it's a lot of fun. Growing, monetizing online communities is cool.
That's fantastic. I love that. So and it is really just this kind of serving and helping that I think a lot of us that we want to try to not only, earn a buck, right? Because I think that's definitely a lot of, I'll say kind of pitfalls that I've seen other people, other creators, entrepreneurs make is that like, oh, I just need to monetize. I just need money. I just need revenue. But then you fall into this trap where you'll kind of like burn out over a time. And so I guess in your example, is that kind of what happened as far as the moving, like I said, the t-shirts, maybe it was not your idea to stop that one necessarily, but like the cleaning, did that, was it just simply burnout because you sold the company? You're like, I'm out of here. This isn't what I want to do. And then now it's the online community that is like kind of more, okay, more aligned with what you were expecting or wanting to do.
Yeah, the t-shirts was great because it got me really thinking about business, and it got me out of the mindset of like as soon as I graduate high school or college, I'm going straight, to once I'm done with university, I'm going straight into a 9 to 5 job. After I saw like the money I could make selling t-shirts, I was like, I don't want to know what a job is. I'm not even interested. Right now, of course, I've had jobs, right?
Yeah.
But it really put me on that runway of just like there's more out there. The cleaning company, when I had the cleaning company, I was like the opposite of passionate about it. That is true. I wasn't necessarily passionate about it at all. I just saw it as a way to kind of get your money for clothes, right? Like sneakers, right?
Yeah.
And it made really great money, but it also put me on that track as well as helping people because I really did love getting the feedback from our clients who were like, wow, our place is so clean. Wow, we see what happens is like when the place is clean, employee morale goes up, employee production goes up, right? And you get to get these side benefits of having a really clean place come back to you in the form of feedback from your clients, right? And then it got me into like serving, like you said,
How do we lose
getting out
that?
of it just to get,
There we go.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, getting out of it just to get like your money, right? So it really
Yep.
put me like, cool, I could actually do some good and get paid for doing good.
Right.
So, um, and then I really got out of the cleaning company simply because I sold it. When I wasn't really too passionate about it, yes, indeed. Like I don't think anyone wakes up and goes, "I'm going to go out and start a cleaning company today" because I'm so passionate about cleaning toilets, right?
Yeah. Let's
So,
say hard to get
but
up in the morning to imagine that. Yeah.
yeah, but I sold it simply because it was a really great experience for me to learn how to run a real legitimate company on my own without a partner and to
Gotcha.
start from scratch.
That's fantastic. So, as far as like somebody that's just trying to get into kind of entrepreneurship, that's looking to start their own thing, right? There's this kind of so mixed kind of advice that you'll hear online, whether it's do something that makes money versus like follow your passion. And I don't know if you had like one school of thought over the other, or some kind of balance or combination of the two. And I guess what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, my advice would be do something you don't hate doing when you wake up in the next morning. So if you can get by and pay the bills and you kind of like it, go for it. Right? It'll turn into something that you love and you're passionate about and provides you a purpose after you made more than enough money to cover your bills. Right? But you got to wake up the next morning going, I'm kind of excited about doing this today.
Mm.
And if that's the way you could approach it, fantastic, go for it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I love that because I think one of the struggles that, as gamers, right, that we have is that, everything we play games because they're fun, right? Everybody plays different games for different reasons, of fun. Like, what's fun to you is, versus what's fun to me, right? But at the end of the day, all games in some form are we're trying to have fun. So taking that to like a job or career has just it's just like this wall that says like, well, career is not fun. That's job. This is how I get the money. And then I go home and play games. Right. And then you
Right.
talk work-life balance, right? Is that kind of how you felt about it? I guess as far as the cleaning company and cleaning toilets then too, as far as like, well, at least I get to play games at home.
Yeah, it's the gaming was such a big part of my life. Like I would sit down and play 10, 15 hours a day and not even know that 10, 15 hours passed, right? I'd be like, I
Yep.
can still go another 15 hours. And so it was something that provided me like that time, flexibility, and freedom to do that. Now, again, was I passionate about cleaning toilets? No, but I was definitely passionate about that check I received when I sold the company. So yeah, you got to go through those steps. You got to go through those phases. And yeah, I mean, gaming teaches you that, right? Gaming, the second you pick up a brand new game you've never played before, it you immediately know you're going to suck, right? And you can carry that into the business space. Whatever you're doing, you just immediately know you're going to suck at it. And of course, persistency. Of course, learning the rules of the game, learning what rules can be bent, which rules cannot be bent, right? Learning, getting a team, learning from that team, right? Learning when to duck, when not to duck, how to beat the boss, how to get to the next level. This is all business stuff.
Right. And that's what I love as part of this podcast is to understand from gamers like yourself that are successful to say like, well, how did that happen? Like how did you realize or how do you use these kind of skills? Because there's such a mental wall, I think, for gamers that like what happens in the game stays in the game, I guess is maybe a way to say it, where it's just, oh, that's a game, that's not real, that's not, this is I'm doing this as a hobby to have fun. And of course there are some people that try to make and can make good money doing like streaming this stuff, like actually playing the games. But it's these skill sets that we're learning that we don't necessarily understand or realize that we could take outside of the game. So like walking through some of these, I'd love to hear some like some examples and stories if you have as far as like how you were able to use these kind of gaming skills, these skills learned through gaming that you could apply to your business. And just I guess
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. There's gaming is such a great way to learn, right? There's so many ways that you can learn. You can learn by podcasts, you can learn by reading books, you can learn by, watching videos. Gaming is really neat because it actually pulls you into the experience with the controller in your hand. And just like business, it's not enough to be able to read a book and watch a video and think you know everything you can to get started. No, you need to have an immersive experience where you're putting something in your hand and you're getting things done, right? And you're doing it every day, right? The way we get great at games is because we play them every day, even though we know we suck, right? We don't know we're good at it until someone says, "Hey, you're pretty good at that." They're like, "Oh, okay, thanks." Business is the same way. When you get started, you need persistence because persistence is going to get you through all the times it sucks. And then once you get to that point where you're actually kind of good at what you do, and someone says you're really good at what you do, then it's going to make sense. But you got to know, again, great thing about gaming is that it gets you mentally prepared to suck, gets you mentally prepared for those moments where you're not going to have everything figured out. It's going to get you prepared for those moments where you get taken out by the boss. It's going to be, it
Yep.
gets you prepared, you know, for those moments to be able to dodge and duck obstacles, right? And get through them, gets you past points where you get stuck on levels, right? And that determination kicks in. You're like, no, I'm going to do this. No, and all those are traits that you can apply and bring into business.
That's
And if
fantastic.
anything,
Yeah.
those are the traits that you need to be successful in business. The
Right. It
same traits you need for video games.
right that level of persistence, right? To be able to keep going, right? So being you just simply not quitting, right? It's just something that gamers I think inherently understand in the game, but applying that to the rest of their lives to say like, well, I'm not good at, X, but being able to actually go through and actually complete and actually, or progress to the point, in your career, in your business to say like, yeah, it's going to suck. Like it's going to be bad for a little while, but you don't give up in the game, right? You keep going until you get past the boss, you get past the level. But for some reason, when we get into our lives, that same mentality doesn't carry over. And so I guess what would you say to those kind of people that are like that don't quite understand or haven't quite had that shift that you had that they're stuck in like, well, I can do that in a game. I can play for hours and hours like 'cause I know there's plenty of people, some of my friends too, they're like, yeah, well, yeah, they'll play for 10 hours a day, but as soon as something is hard, in real life, something just stops them. What would you say to those people?
And it's a game.
Treat it like a
That's what
game.
business is. Business is a game. Yeah.
It's so simple, but like yeah. So, but so many people don't,
Yeah.
fully
Yeah.
grasp it. But it's just it can be that simple, guys. It's just simply if you treat it like a game, and I think that's also where a lot of this kind of gamification has started to grow, right? As part of that, to say like businesses, not just games, but like other businesses that are multi-million billion-dollar companies use gamification, and which is rooted in gaming, and they're like,
Right.
how can we use gaming elements, instead of like, okay, instead of shoot the monster, shoot the alien, whatever. It's like, no, no. What are the different mechanisms behind the scenes that drive the player to do what they do? How can we use that in business to engage customers to do the same thing? So,
Yeah. Exactly. Business is, if anything, like a game because you have competition, you have skill levels, you have tools that you need to acquire. You have to know when to pull those tools out of your tool belt, at what moment, at what time. You have to learn how to strike. You have to learn how to put up your defenses. All of these things that you learn playing video games does transfer over to business because business, at the end of the day, is also a game.
it's guys, it's as simple as that. Business is a game, but once you start treating it like a game, it'll all start to fall into place, right? But the so the I'll call it the problem, or maybe the objection, right, that comes up when I've said this to a few people, as far as business as a game, you can treat it like such, is that okay? But games at the end of the day don't matter, right? In the grand sense of things. If you die in the game, if you lose, whatever, you lost the level, you turn off the game, who cares? But when you get into your life and in a business, failure can have real world consequences, right? If you don't land enough clients, you're not getting enough sales, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to close up shop. You're going to have to go like, beg for a job at somewhere else just to try to pay the bills. Like, so I guess from your experience, like what would you say on that kind of front where it's like, okay, well, gaming, I understand and I can do that in a game because I don't have the consequences. But now I have consequences outside of that in my life, in my business. What do I do?
Yeah, there's going to be moments where that's going to come up where you definitely are going to feel that the setback, right? In video games, it's all a setback. Like, oh, I didn't get past this level because there's something I need to learn here so that I can get past this level and move on. Same thing about business. And I think when it comes to gaming as well, every great gamer, say that 10 times fast,
Yep.
every great gamer goes into a certain level after they master a certain level of skill set with a strategy. The same as with business. You need to go into business with a strategy. So when you're going into business with a strategy, it's like, who are my opponents? What is the competition? What are their weak spots? Where are their blind spots? Where can I do better? Where are my weak spots? Where are my blind spots? And how do I make those better? And when you have this structure, it's going to limit the amount of times that you come to a spot where you're supposed to learn something in business and kind of get slapped around a little bit. And that's okay, right? Those moments are going to happen. You cannot 100% eliminate them, even with the best strategy in the world. But the strategy will help keep that down to a minimum, just like going into any video game. If you have a great strategy, your number of losses that you take are minimum versus the number of wins that you get, right? So the people who are just like, hey, video games are cool because it's not real life, I beg to differ. I think it is real life if you're applying it to business because it takes all the same tools and strategies to win as it does in a video game.
That's so powerful. Thank you. Thank you for that, Sila. I the key point of this, I think, with the strategy, right, is that you could be, yeah, I like was it the metaphor where you have to have a strategy, right? Because if you wanted to see a sunset, but then you ran east as fast as you could trying to find the sunset the other way, it's like you'll never get there. Like, it doesn't matter how
Right.
fast you are, right? You need to make sure you're going in the right direction to be able to see a sunset. So by the same token, in a game, you have to have a strategy. Now, you might not necessarily have a, like a strategy guide, right? You might not necessarily watch YouTube videos to find out what to do, like a lot of people do. But even then, internally, we have strategies. We might not necessarily call them that. It's just like I've played enough games that I know how this is going to work. I know where I'm going to go here. And so in your mind, you have this plan. It's called a strategy that you will use to get past whatever the level the boss, based on your gaming experience. So I think part of that too translates to business to say, okay, well, you need the strategy. And one of the reasons that people that are very successful in business is because is that it's that same thing. It's they've done business long enough that they have the experience to understand what works and what doesn't, the same way a gamer playing years and years of gaming knows what works and what doesn't when they go to different games.
Yes, absolutely. And another thing I love about gaming that you could bring into the real world, into business, is that it keeps you humble. Like gaming keeps you humble, but so does business when you think of it like a game. You could become someone who's mastered a certain game at the best of your ability and at the best of your level until you meet someone who beats the crap out of you. You're just like, you're like, who is this guy? Where did you come from? How'd you beat me so fast? And it humbles you, right? Same thing happens in business. There's always another level. There's always another boss. There's always going to be someone who knows more than you, plays the game better than you. You're going to meet up with at some point that's going to humble you. That's what I love about business and gaming as well, is that it does remove the ego for the most part because you know there's always someone out there who's bigger and better and faster doing what you do. And if you were to meet them, most likely they would beat you. But that also drives the competition for you to become even better, right?
Right.
So, and like you said, when you're a gamer, you're always gaming. There's never a point where you stop gaming. You're like, I'm the best. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah. You never, yeah, you never beat all, yeah, yeah. I beat all the games in the world. I am done. No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the idea of showing, like having that person or understanding that there's somebody that's that's doing it, whether it's better, faster, that's playing at that higher level, whether it is in games
Yeah.
or in business, right? And one of the traps I think that a lot of people get caught in, right, is the comparison, right? Like, well, I'm not as good as that person, and that stops them. But again, in
Hmm.
games, it tends to be like, oh, well, I'm never going to be as good as X player, right? Yeah, somebody who's done like, esports or tournaments and stuff. It's like, well, I'm never going to be as good as them. But that doesn't stop them from playing, right? And enjoying the game and having fun at their level.
Right.
So, what is it about business that suddenly comparing and be like, oh, there's somebody already in this space. There's already people doing, like you said, pick online courses. There's already people doing online courses for finance or whatever. I guess I shouldn't do it. And it's like, that's not what we're saying at all. Right. So, like, how would you navigate
Right.
that to say, like, okay, well, you understand in business that you play to have fun, even though there's people better than you. But at the same time, that comparison still creeps in when people are looking at business and like trying to get better, faster, but there's somebody already ahead of them.
Yeah, I would say just like in video games, you could put two people in the same game playing each other, straight competition, one on one, and they both have the same skill set and same skill level, but they're both going to play the game entirely different. One person is going to have a different approach to their defense or to their offense. One person is going to have a type of approach that works only for them. If we're talking about like Street Fighter, they would have like, a punch kick combo that works every single time they do it, but not when the other person tries. So it's the same in business. Like that comparison thing is no one's going to fight like you. If we're going to bring this back to Street Fighter, no one's going to fight like you, have your style, have your flair, have your setups, have your takedowns like you. Like you put you in a room of 8 billion people, which there are in the world, and no one's going to play the game exactly the way you do. So there's really no way or no reason to look at someone else and go, I don't play like them. You're right. You don't. You play better. You play in a way that works for you. And it's the same way with business. Play it in a way that works for you. Don't compare yourself to someone who's doing something completely different than you because they're not you. They're not going to play the game the same way that you do,
That's,
and vice
yeah,
versa.
that's powerful. Right. And I think you touched on something very powerful there as far as play it the way that you play it. right? Yeah, don't be a copycat of somebody else, right? Is another way to say it. To say yeah, don't be an imitation of somebody. You may learn some, some cool moves, some strategies that you might incorporate, but it's still you at the end of the day and do what works for you. I love that. And I think that's so powerful and bears repeating is that do what works for you because what works for you doesn't necessarily work for everybody
Yeah.
else. And this is how you can get ahead for yourself because there's going to be people that might want to copy you as far as like, you going at your pace, but you do it so in such a way that works for you that other people can't copy. Right. And I think that's
Right.
just powerful.
And have you ever played a game where you tried to copy 100% of what someone else does? If you've ever done that, what you found is that you lose every single time. It's only once you incorporate, like you said, what you like about what that person does, you add your own flair to it, and then that's when you start to win, right? Because you incorporated yourself into what you liked about what they did, right? So when you try to copy 100%, you're going to lose every time. But when you copy 10, 20% and add your flair to it, now you're winning.
Yep, exactly right. And there's so many good examples of that I play. Uh, so Final Fantasy 14, if you know that one, so one of the big MMOs,
Nice.
and there's all the different bosses, right? It's much more, I call it like it's telegraphed, right? It's very predictable how the boss will is like 20 seconds in the boss is going to cast this and then he's going to cast that. But at the same time, it's like so you could have the perfect strategy, and a lot of people have like these different strategies that they make on YouTube. But at the same time, you still have to do it, right? The execution is actually the harder part. Like understanding the mechanics is definitely, again, you need a strategy. And so you need to know how the boss works and how you're going to counter these different things. But at the same time, there's going to be eight of you playing and everybody plays a little bit different. So trying to have everybody work and coordinate in just the right way that you can get your group to do it. I mean, that's the whole game. Like it's the execution of it. You can understand it, logically, you can understand it, on a high level, but unless you actually do it, you're not going to learn it.
Yep, exactly.
I love that. So what other example would you have as far as, your business that you've taken from gaming that has gotten you, I guess, to the highest level? Is there one, I guess, skill, there's one, idea that's really catapulted your growth that you feel? And maybe one of the ones we have or haven't talked about.
Yeah, for me, community is everything. Video games taught me that as well, right? So a community is people who you speak to every day. It's your network. It's people who are at a different skill set or skill level that are willing to teach you and coach you and be there for you, that you're in constant communication with. So community taught me a lot around video games and how that could be applied to business. So I would say for me, the one thing that has really kind of driven me in what I do in business is what is the community I can build around the service or product that I want to offer that's going to benefit those who I serve and also help me get to the next level. So who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to team up with? Who I need to invite into my inner circle, right? That can help me up levels, get my skills to where they need to be, create the best product, and reach out to the most amount of people as possible to help them and serve them in some kind of way. So community is huge for me. And that's why I do what I do today. Today is all about that. I build online communities,
Yep.
right? I build online communities for people who
That's
are looking to grow and monetize their online communities.
right.
And
I
video
love
games
that.
taught me
That's
that.
yeah, the fact that you've gotten to that point where it's just really that harmony of like this is what I like to do, this is what I want to do, and then now it's what you do for a living, right? And you earning the living, earning the income, and actually doing what you enjoy. Which, like I said, coming back to earlier in the discussion, as far as is it making a buck? Is it working your passion? And it sounds like so starting on one or the other. It seems like at some point you really the convergence can happen and it's happened for you. So
Yeah.
congratulations to you for that because that's fantastic. I love that. So
Yeah.
as
Awesome.
we're kind of wrapping up the last few minutes of this particular episode, uh, I wanted to make sure that we got as much information and value and nuggets of wisdom as we can for the gamers out there. So, what have we missed? What would you say to anyone that's out there that's playing games, that's looking to maybe be an entrepreneur, that's looking to get into it? and they're not sure where to start. Like, what other advice would you have for them?
Uh, let's see, for they're not sure where to start. Again, I would go back to doing something that when you wake up the next morning, you're cool with doing again. So as far as where to start, how to start, get immersive, put a controller in your hand. This is gaming. Outside of gaming, put yourself in a situation where you can be immersive in what you're about to do, right? Talk to people, build a community, build a network, get the skill set, level up, meet the bosses, make the money. It's,
Yep. It's that simple, right? I think the immersion is
yeah.
really powerful though, right? Like that's what we do in games is like, how many people have read an instruction manual in the last like 20, 30 years or something, right? You just jump in and you learn on the go, right? And it's a part of that, again, translating to the rest of our lives to say, like, sometimes you just have to jump in and just kind of, you know, figure it out, right? Just try things, right? Just taking that
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, I mean the immersive part in business is think of it in videos and video games. Like if I picked up a new game today, I've never played it before. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into like Reddit. I'm gonna start talking to people who played it before. Like, give me your experience on it. Like, I'm stuck at this level. How do I get past it? I'm stuck at this boss. How do I get past it? So that immersive part is getting into the game, getting into the community of everyone who plays that game. So you can start building your network and talking to people and up leveling your skills. The same thing is with business. When we're talking about getting immersive, it's like get into the industry. It doesn't matter what that industry is. If you want to go print t-shirts, get immersed into the t-shirt business industry. Talk to printers, talk to manufacturers, talk to distribution people, right? Talk about people who create fabrics, right? And look at the many different ways you can create a t-shirt, iron on fabric, stitch, right? Just talk to everyone. And that's how you get immersive when it comes to business. Same thing you would do in video games, just apply it to business.
That's fantastic. I love that. So guys, get immersed because that is how you'll succeed. It's just you just simply understanding through immersion. That's what we do in games. It's what we can do
Yeah.
in business too. I love that.
Yeah.
So So, guys, so Sila, as we wind this down, I think people are going to be very interested to learn more, especially as far as growing maybe their own community. So, where can we find you, and I guess what you do? Tell us where we can find more about you and your services online.
Yeah, for sure. Just follow me anywhere. It's all Siloh Moses on all socials. So SILOHMOSES. And if you want to get with me as far as building out a community for you and getting it to the point where you can grow it and you can monetize it and you can scale it with the help of AI, then you can reach out to me via email at hello@getcashflowhero.com.
Perfect. And we'll have all those down in the show notes for you guys, so you can reach out to Shiloh if you are interested as well. So, guys, so Shiloh, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I do have one more question for you, and that is,
Sure.
what is your favorite video game?
Ah, okay. So this is going to be a toss up. The toss up is any Street Fighter. Big fan of Street Fighter, so it doesn't
Love it.
matter. Doesn't matter what number. Any Street Fighter. The toss up coming in a very very close second place is going to be Tomb Raider,
Tomb Raider.
and
Nice.
taking it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Only because Tomb Raider and Resident Evil were like the games that really like got under my skin.
Yes. Those were the fun challenges
So
back in the day for sure. I love it.
yeah, those are the games that always stuck with me. They always pissed me off.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how we love the games that like piss us off and challenge us back in the day, right? Too. There's definitely games
Yeah,
like that. I'm like,
exactly.
but you feel so much more accomplished when you win, right? Because you're like, oh, it was so hard, and then I was able to overcome, right? So I love that. And
Yeah,
also a big fan
exactly.
of it. I played, of course, long ago. Played a lot of the Street Fighter 2, which of course was like the big one back in the day. And I didn't play another one
Yeah,
until like five. And so I'm like, so my Street Fighter's not super great, but I have definitely enjoyed it over the years. So awesome and very good pick. So
absolutely. Awesome.
Good. All right. Well, guys, definitely check out Siloh Moses, and I'll have the links for you guys in the show notes below. And if you want to check out as far as understanding and building like your own online communities yourself, so definitely check them out, guys. So thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you everybody for listening, guys. This has been fantastic. And if you want to hear more about Siloh and you want to have him on again, definitely let me know, because we'd be excited to have you back. So guys, thank you so much for watching.
Appreciate it.
Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.